Cannabis Common Sense, the show that tells the truth about marijuana and the politics behind its prohibition.
Production of the one cash crop, which has long been a virtual Philippine monopoly.
The invasion of the two big hemp-producing countries, China and Philippines, was the start of hemp rationing. Hitler was also aware of the strategic importance of hemp, which was used in the making of canvas and ropes, both of which were an essential part of his war effort. In 1941, when the German army invaded Russia, it blocked Britain's supply of Russian hemp. Germany managed to develop her own hemp production, but the cultivation of this fiber, which had become so necessary in wartime, was still banned in Great Britain. In 1942, the German troops reached the center of Russia. The land continued to produce hemp, which enabled Hitler to move confidently to the next stage of his plans for the Reich. To safeguard its own supplies of hemp, Great Britain urged India to increase production. Meanwhile, war was spreading to Japan.
Within little more than a year, Japan, successfully employing once again the deceit and treachery which had so well served her in the past, had taken the final desperate plunge.
When Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, forcing the United States of America to declare war, Americans realized they were cut off from their hemp supplies. The U.S. Navy was totally dependent upon hemp for rot-resistant ropes for their ships and for many other components. The American government then decided to redevelop their hemp industry. Marijuana was legalized again and farmers received seeds. A propaganda film called Hemp for Victory was then made to encourage this war effort. The Allies' air forces were completely reliant upon hemp. Parachute straps, packs and belts were made out of hemp. No other available fiber was so strong and so reliable under combat conditions. After General MacArthur had forced the Japanese to withdraw from the Philippines, hemp production soon reached pre-war levels again. After the war years, a new world arose from the ashes of the old. India gained independence. Thanks to automation, India doubled its hemp production and increased its exports to America and the rest of the world. In peacetime, the United States once again banned the cultivation of hemp and cannabis, but at the same time imported millions of tons of hemp during the post-war economic boom to supply its industries.
For this is the Port of New York, a sprawling pattern of activity covering more than 1,500 square miles. Its 650-mile waterfront, an ever-changing mirror reflecting the work of the world and its needs and tastes. Grain from Canada, and fish from Portugal and Norway, tires from Akron, and hemp from India.
During the post-war years in France, hemp growing and processing went through a revitalized industrial revolution.
What is interesting to underline is the fact that in France hemp culture went on in spite of American prohibition. While prohibiting marijuana in the USA, they prohibited hemp too, and so you couldn't grow it anymore. In France, hemp growing went on. France was a very rural nation at that time. and remained so until the 50s. They continue to cultivate hemp there today. What happened was that synthetic fibers went on to become a huge development. And even in France, in a country where hemp growing was still legal, hemp began to widely decline until the hemp textile industry finally died at the end of the 60s.
Recent months, there has been a push to legalize hemp farming in America. Some say it's clean and a sustainable crop that's easy to grow and will help the ailing economy. Others say legalizing it will only complicate the country's current war on drugs. KUSI's Bridget Naso has more on the controversial crop in a two-part special report, Hemp in America.
A one-man protest caught the nation's attention this spring. A local businessman and activist, David Bronner, locked himself in a steel cage with hemp plants from Canada in front of the White House. His mission, to legalize industrial hemp.
I'm here putting my liberty at risk. All I'm asking is, I want to send $100,000 to American farmers. You know, we want to send our money to American farmers.
But why would the president of a soap company in Escondido be at the forefront of this issue? Because he's the president of Dr. Bronner's soap company, founded by Bronner's grandfather in Germany in the 1800s. He brought the company to Southern California in the late 1940s. The soap has changed very little since it was first created. It's all natural with no preservatives, and the key ingredient is hemp seed oil.
It's really high in the omega-3 essential fatty acid. This is a triple unsaturated fatty acid. It's very smooth and emollient on the skin, makes our lather much less drying and much smoother, and has been a key part of the success of the soaps.
Bronner says in the past 10 years, business has grown from $5 million to $50 million a year. He says Americans want to buy natural and sustainable products, but Bronner can't buy his staple ingredient, hemp oil, from growers in the U.S.
Every year we import 20 tons of hemp seed oil from Canada and send well over $100,000 to Canadian farmers. And collectively, the American industry is sending tens of millions of dollars to Canada, China, Europe, whose farmers are allowed to cultivate and process industrial hemp.
Sure, a change of policy would benefit him financially, but this, he says, is about ending the war on what he calls a harmless crop.
Obama came in, promising that his policy was going to be science and reason-based, rational. I mean, what could be more, rational than, recommercializing industrial hemp in a recession?
Hemp farming is not new to American farmers. It had been legal for years, even farmed by our first president.
George Washington was a hemp farmer. Thomas Jefferson was a hemp farmer. The first law of Jamestown was it was illegal not to grow hemp on your farm. It was that important of a crop.
Used to make clothing, paper products, and even covered wagons. Bronner says hemp is still used today by manufacturers of German cars. So what happened to hemp in America? The stigma began in the 1930s at the end of Prohibition. The government and the media, says Bronner, campaigned to scare the public, and competitive industries fed the fuel to get rid of hemp.
You had these drug warriors, out of work, looking for a job. Industries like timber and cotton, threatened by hemp as a competitive crop.
And as a result, except for a short time during World War II to help with the war effort, hemp was banned. But Bronner says the hysteria over hemp has been overblown. You can't get high on hemp.
For millennia, they've been bred separately and optimized for different things. Industrial hemp is optimized for seed and fiber, whereas marijuana varieties are optimized for THC in the flower. Industrial hemp cannot get you high.
And with the current economy, Bronner and even some lawmakers say it's time to allow hemp farming in America again. Bridget Naso, KUSI News.
And coming up in part 2 of our series tomorrow, Hemp in America, KUSI's Bridget Naso has more on the effort to make hemp legal in the U.S. and why politicians and law enforcement want little to do with the controversial topic. In part 1 of our special report, Hemp in America, we examined the history of hemp farming and the effort by one local businessman to legalize it. Well, tonight we have more on why some lawmakers support the idea as one of the solutions to our ailing economy. But as KUSI's Bridget Naso tells us, there are still a lot of people who want to keep this crop from growing on U.S. soil.
A local businessman and advocate for legalizing hemp farming locked himself in a steel cage this spring outside of the White House to call attention to the issue. David Bronner's company, Dr. Bronner Natural Soaps, uses hemp oil. But hemp is illegal to grow in the U.S. because it's classified as a controlled substance, and Bronner has to import it from Canada. Now he says it's time for the government to change its policy and recognize that hemp and marijuana are very different plants.
It's just ridiculous that this industry, which is growing every year, is doubling. We just continue to give to the Canadians and the Chinese and the Europeans, are just laughing at us.
Legal expert Dan Gillian says Bronner is technically correct.
Hemp is a plant. It's closely aligned and similar to marijuana, but it's a totally separate plant.
And Gillian says people don't get high on hemp.
Marijuana would have somewhere between 5 and 20% THC in it, whereas hemp only has 1%. So it really, if you smoke this, you get a headache, you wouldn't get high.
For centuries, the two plants have been grown for distinctly different purposes. Hemp is industrial, says Bronner, used for fabric like cotton, only it's cleaner to grow, and also for paper, which saves trees.
Industrial hemp is optimized for seed and fiber, whereas marijuana varieties are optimized for THC in the flower.
And Bronner says this kind of farming is much different than growing marijuana for medicinal or recreational purposes. To grow industrial hemp, you need a lot of land in order to make it worthwhile for the farmer. Typically, marijuana is grown in smaller areas and far apart to help the flower grow. If it's grown in larger areas illegally, it's typically more easy to find by law enforcement, like this bust. Last week on 40 acres of private property near Warner Springs, it netted $40 million worth of the drug. And growing the plants together, says Bronner, would ruin the hemp and the marijuana because of cross-pollination. The leaders of several states, including North Dakota, know the difference, says Bronner, and want to make it legal to farm. However, recently Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon added an amendment to the recent farm bill that would make hemp farming legal. Not one U.S. senator signed it. Legal expert Dan Gillian says that's no surprise.
The politicians, I think they're just scared, really, to do anything. They don't want to be the guy that legalized hemp, because the perception by the public is hemp is the same as marijuana.
And given the dangers surrounding drug trafficking, law enforcement wants nothing to do with legalizing this plant, given its close association with marijuana. And the local DEA office did not want to comment on our story.
Some people would say this is not a good idea given the current drug crisis in America. What would you say to those people?
In China, where they'll shoot you if you have marijuana, they grow tens of thousands of acres of industrial hemp.
Bronner's hope is that now that the state of California has legalized medicinal marijuana, it will only be a matter of time before hemp farming becomes legal, possibly through a standalone bill in Congress or state by state.
13 states want to grow. They have laws on the books ready to go. We just need the federal government to get out of the way.
But until that day, Bronner and other companies like his will have to import hemp products and continue to send their dollars overseas. Bridget Naso, KUSI News.
A good friend of mine, a friend of the farmer, a Native American activist from all over the country, John Trudell. I'd like to introduce John to y'all. He has a few words about farming that he'd like to talk to.
First, I appreciate this opportunity, and I'll be brief. But I want, as a person of the land, as a human being and as a person of the land, and in relationship, and I relate to farmers as being people of the land. And with all the problems that we're confronted with and faced with, I would like you all to consider learning the realities of industrial hemp. The economic, environmental realities of industrial hemp. Teach it to the young. Have your organizations and the people that represent you and you yourself take it upon yourself to learn the realities of industrial hemp. It will save the family farm. It will give the young farmer a future. You go, have your organizations, have the people that represent you learn everything there is to know about industrial hemp. It's a part of American history. All right, it's always been here. It will save the family farm. Right? Do that. If you would just do that, right? And the next election in 2016, vote hemp. Make it vote hemp. Learn vote hemp. All right? And make them all support this because it will create an economy and an economic base for the people.
2010. How you feeling? Just bring me up with a monitor. Yes, I. Man called Casper from Arizona, Hopi land. How you feeling, Portland? Rhythm, please. This how we do it in Hopi land. Native peoples in the house, say yeah. Yes, sir. Watch the ride. Nothing them come, they come about to Hopi land. Nothing them come, they come about to Hopi land. They come by bus, sometimes they come by but only the best they come around. Jump, jump. Nothing them come, they come about to Hopi land. Nothing them come, they come about to Hopi land. They come by bus, sometimes they come by but only the best they come and play down Hopi land. But tell a friend, a reggae man we bring, Bob and Nest Tamale and my heart is still king. Shock we shaka, we sing we are sting. Sometimes we DJ BC, sometimes we sing. Back in Hopi land where my guac came from, I and I may miss that slim belly one bit. Just from on from the Kirkhope's body, they live and I direct me coming in our show body. The trip they come, they come back to Hopi land. The trip they come, they coming back to Hopi land. They come by bus, sometimes they come by but only the best to come around. Jump, jump. The trip they come, they coming back to Hopi land. The trip they come, they coming back to Hopi land. They come by bus, sometimes they come by but only the best to come and play down in Hopi land. A dedicated cultural connection. The movies up in the dance, yes, the mom. This is the way we call my music along. A reggae that's yes, running in the season. There's no excuse, no better reason. I'm nice enough, Portland, my only mission. So listen up, no matter why me in the session. We live and on the record, come the boom, boom, come. The trip they come, they coming about to Hopi land. The trip they come, they coming about to Hopi land. They come by bus, sometimes they come by, but only the best they come around and down. The trip they come, they coming about to Hopi land. The trip they come, they coming about to Hopi land. They come by bus, sometimes they come by, but only the best they come to play down in Hopi land. Yeah, 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 yeah. Stand strong, positive lyrics in the maximum, yeah, yeah, yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And Babylon don't like that, no. Mighty 602 band in the house one time, right? Let me hear you say, hell yeah! Watch me. Then I did dance for everyone once again. Listen up, no matter what, man, I'm a crumb every time. Mighty 602, man, every crumb every time. The mic, the lyric, that my only weapon. Well, that's the way me try to be, so come have some fun. Mic upon the lyric, man, we only weapon. The woman, every woman, every dance, and I for I'ma listen up, no matter what, I come to dance. I get them come, they come about to Hopi land. The get them come, they coming about to Hopi land. They come by bus, sometimes they come by, but only the best to come around. The trip them come, they come about to Hopi land. The trip them come, they coming about to Hopi land. They come by bus, sometimes they come by, but only the best to come to play down the Hopi land. Yeah, 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 yeah.
as you heard, running for Vice President of the United States of America. I am going to win this election with your help. The most qualified person to be President of the United States that I know of is a fellow by the name of Governor Gary Johnson from New Mexico. Governor Gary Johnson has actually done this. While he was governor, he stood up in 1999 and said the obvious: the nation's war on drugs is not working and it must be changed. The man has courage, he has insight, he has integrity, and he goes for it. Support Governor Gary Johnson for president. You will not go wrong. And if that's not enough, and it should be, but if that's not enough, understand that you can elect Romney, you can elect Obama. They're the same. I call them Robomney. They're the same. If we do elect either of them, there won't be any medical marijuana dispensaries in our country within a year or two from now. None. It's out of control. We need to elect Governor Gary Johnson. It's the only chance for survival for medical marijuana dispensaries in our country. In addition, something hugely important. We as a candidacy have endorsed the initiative here in Oregon, Initiative 80, to treat marijuana like alcohol. We need to get this word out, and we can't do it alone. You can't do it alone, but together we can get this done. Measure 80 has got to pass. That's not loud enough. I said, did you hear me? Measure 80 has got to pass. Same thing in Washington. We've endorsed both of those initiatives. Same thing in Colorado. We've endorsed that initiative there as well. We're going to put it right to the federal government. The people of these states demand that they be allowed to choose the way to treat marijuana. And I say, let's treat it just like my drug of choice. Let's treat it just like wine. That's the answer to go for. I'm not sure you're convinced. That's what we need to go for. And for heaven's sake, let's treat hemp like cotton. Let's just treat hemp, which has valuable uses, industrial uses all around the nation. We are actually squandering this opportunity. We're importing $1 billion worth of hemp every year from that radical country north of us called Canada, and we're cheating our own people. While we're at it, let's treat hemp like cotton. For heaven's sake, let's get this done. So, visit our website, GaryJohnson2012.com. GaryJohnson2012.com. You will like what you see. And if you do, and when you do, take it personally. Pass that link on to your email world. If you take it personally, endorse this candidacy, vote away from Robomney, and vote for somebody that you actually can vote for, understanding that voting for the lesser of two evils, you still get evil, don't you? Vote for Governor Gary Johnson, someone that you can vote for. Tell your friends, tell your acquaintances, tell your family to do the same thing. I am here to tell you, help is on the way. Vote for 80, vote for these initiatives in Colorado and Washington, and for heaven's sake, you'll always be proud to have voted for Governor Gary Johnson and Judge Jim Gray. Go get them. Thank you all. Let's make this thing happen. Thank you all.
Let me put it like this. Some people who don't know me give me a reputation for wanting to legalize drugs. I do not want to do that. I'm in the business of trying to license and regulate cannabis as a crop. Tomatoes are legal. Alcohol and tobacco is licensed and regulated. And I seek to license and regulate, take it out of the black market status, just cannabis now. I would take the law enforcement dollar, which we would save off of that we're currently spending on detecting, arresting, prosecuting, and incarcerating people who associate with the cannabis plant. If we change the laws, we'd save all that money. I would go after the hard drugs. I'd go after the synthetic drugs, the crack, the cocaine, the heroin, those kinds of synthetic drugs, man-made drugs, which destroy the spirit and overcome rights of determination and self-choice because they're addictive and destructive to the body.
The spirit itself has become corrupted. Everybody knows that the coke is bad stuff, and it has bad spirit. It runs through a gamut of people that are against enlightenment, They're wanting you to try this stuff that makes you feel powerful, and then it goes away in about 10 minutes. And the people, the local people that we know, are growing little dabs of grass and stuff. Their stuff isn't that strong, but you don't want it that strong. It's one thing that we've learned is you don't need a huge bunch of anything. You can get the same effect with just a little bunch. And we're mature enough to be able to make those kind of decisions. I mean, we've never heard it debated. We've never heard this gateway drug thing debated. You know, they say well, grass leads to heroin. You can say the same thing.
It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you right now a champion of truth and liberty. I think one of the most honest politicians we've had in my lifetime. U.S. Congressman Dennis Kucinich is here to speak to you. Let's hear a warm welcome. Give your love to Dennis Kucinich. Hello, Seattle! On this day, in this place of great beauty, we celebrate the beauty of nature, and I'm also here to celebrate the wondrous nature of you. The presence that we have here today binds us as a community. It empowers us. It strengthens us. We must become visible en masse if we're going to bring about the change that we want in the society. And when we do that, we extend our reach. We bring about new possibilities. And the creative spark that births action can usher in a new world. We have to say to America, open up, America. Show yourself. Time for mass action. This is why and how recent movements for freedom in Tunisia and Egypt gained momentum. This is how Gandhi cast off the British Empire. This is how America's suffragettes ended up getting for women the right to vote. This is how Dr. Martin Luther King's March on Washington became a pivotal moment in the civil rights history of this country. People become visible. They go to the streets. They linked arms. They marched. They sang, "We shall overcome." They walked the uplit path of social and economic justice. People have been on this path, and it's time for us to begin to walk that path too. People then marched to glory, but not for themselves, but for the benefit of generations to come. We gather here today in a common determination for change. A sense of commonality of purpose awakens. A purpose, a sense of awareness grows. The moment arrives to exercise a new commitment, to cast off an old order of things. This same awareness brought America's founders to write the Declaration of Independence and to proclaim a new order follows. Today it is not a financial deficit that will bring America down. It is a deficit of public action. When people discover what happens when one person determines to make a difference and then merges with the many like-minded and becomes visible, new possibilities unfold and a new order follows. Now Seattle, you understand this because in 1999, Seattle hosted the World Trade Organization rallies. And Seattle was the host of the Teamsters and the Turtles marching arm in arm, not too far from this area, demanding once and for all that we have enforceable workers' rights, human rights, environmental quality principles in all of our trade agreements. They marched and they chanted and they said, not only we shall overcome, but solidarity forever, solidarity for workers. The Seattle WTO cast light upon the workings of the WTO. Seattleites, union members, trade activists helped spark a worldwide awareness, that workers had to have rights and that there had to be environmental quality principles. And it was the people of Seattle who identified that child labor, slave labor, and prison labor had to be in trade, that prohibitions on that had to be in trade agreements. Seattle brought that forward. You kept that alive. You've nurtured it. Large, intentional gatherings like this one can be a catalyst for powerful change. But we have to be prepared, as George Bernard Shaw once wrote, to dream things that never were and ask why not. And let us dream about the America that we want. Let us give our dreams some firmament. Let our dreams and our thoughts become words. Let the words become deeds. Let our deeds become action. Let our actions build a new America and a new world. Seattle, you shook the world once. Can you shake it again? I ask you. Are you ready here, Seattle, to declare once and for all that it's time for America to end the wars in Iraq, in Afghanistan, and Libya? Are you ready to do that? Are you prepared to demand that our troops be brought home? Are you prepared to demand that America end its worldwide military presence? Are you prepared to demand that America must lead the way to nuclear abolition? Are you prepared, Seattle, to demand that we have to repeal the Patriot Act? Are you prepared, Seattle, to demand that government spying, eavesdropping, and wiretapping of law-abiding citizens must end? That our sisters' right to privacy be protected and decisions about women's reproductive health be made between a woman and her doctor? Are you prepared, Seattle, to say that our brothers and sisters who are gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgendered have all full rights, including the right to marry? Are you prepared, Seattle, to demand the decriminalization and legalization of marijuana and demand hospitalization, not incarceration, for those with drug problems? Are you prepared to demand not-for-profit health care for all? Education for all? Retirement security for all? Jobs for all? Are you prepared to rescue our federal government from corporate interests by calling for a constitutional amendment which establishes only public financing of federal elections? Are you prepared for that? Are you prepared to summon the energy to rescue our planet, to protect our air, our water, and our land from further exploitation by demanding an end to drilling the earth, fracking the earth, cracking the earth, and an end to the poisoning of our seas and our skies, and to make sure that we end this carbon-based solution and bring forward a rapid transition to an environmentally friendly, socially responsible green economy? Seattle, this day, here and now, you, through your responses, have voiced what I would call the Seattle Declaration. Let the sound of your voice today be heard wide and far. Let your affirmations give birth to new actions, a new nation, and a new world. Let your voice once again cause America to march. Let your voice once again cause America to sing. Let your voice cause America to seek new freedoms. Let your voice call America to seek a newer world. Ours is a restless quest for freedom. We know wars make us less free. We know fear makes us less free. Social and economic insecurity makes us less free. If it is for freedom's sake that we gather, so then let us be for freedom's sake that we act courageously. Because it is our desire for change that carries extraordinary power to become more than we are, better than we are, forged in the human heart, ignited by love and a passion for transformation. Our common unity, our common purpose, and our common action can carry the power to change everything. This is the power of human unity. This is the power of our oneness. Feel it. Own it. Act upon it, Seattle. Thank you.
U.S. Congressman Dennis Kucinich, give a hand.
And with that, Washington State makes history, becoming the first in the nation to legalize pot for recreational use. But just hours into a new era, the list of questions is long, and to many, the law is a bit short on specifics.
Clearly, there's this major problem, that have to be worked out through committee quickly.
Good evening, I'm Joe Donlin.
And I'm Tracy Berry. It is our top story. News Channel 8's Kylie Boshi is live in Vancouver with more on the big new law. Kyle.
Tracy, police in both Oregon and Washington admit this issue is still evolving. This new law certainly creates some interesting new challenges. But tonight, one thing is clear. As of today, marijuana is legal in Washington. Marijuana advocates celebrated the new law by breaking out their bongs and pipes.
Marijuana is legal, and I'm one of the happiest guys alive.
Everybody, it's illegal. It's against the law. You'll get in trouble. Not anymore.
The law, passed by Washington voters in November, decriminalizes possession of up to an ounce of marijuana for those 21 and older.
It seems like the people of the state of Washington are correcting something that was wrong.
The new law raises several questions. Among them, is it legal to smoke marijuana in public?
Any public consumption of marijuana will subject a person to a civil infraction, and they could be cited into court.
Another question, can I bring marijuana into Oregon?
The only people that can legally go to Washington and bring marijuana back to Oregon are medical marijuana card patients and card holders.
And can I buy or sell marijuana? Right now, the answer is no. But Initiative 502 gives the state 1 year to come up with a plan to grow, process, and sell the drug. Analysts figure state tax revenue from the legal pot market could generate millions of dollars for the state. Private companies like Mary Jane's House of Glass are also hoping to cash in.
It's bringing in a lot of new people that are really curious about exactly what we do.
Advocates hope Washington's new law will help eliminate the stigma of pot smoking and lead to legalization in other states.
He's a hit at the hemp fest rallies and a kick at the hemp stalk too. Strutting his fudge and brownies that he wants to share with you, 'cause he's the candy man, a sugar shaking fudge making brownie baking son of a gun. 'Cause he's the candy man, a sugar shaking fudge making brownie baking son of a gun. Do the strut. Give a sweetness to the brew, 'cause he's the candy man, a sugar shaking fudge making brownie baking son of a gun. He's the candy man, a sugar shaking fudge making brownie baking son of a gun. Do the strut. Sugar shaking fudge making brownie baking son of a gun. Woo! He's the candy man, sugar shaking fudge making brownie baking son of a gun. Take it away.
Right. Indeed, the very word canvas comes from the Arabic word for hemp. In those days, hemp was an important crop in Kentucky and Missouri. Then came cheaper imported fibers for cordage, like jute, sisal, and Manila hemp, and the culture of hemp in America declined. But now, with Philippine and East Indian sources of hemp in the hands of the Japanese, and shipment of jute from India curtailed, American hemp must meet the needs of our Army and Navy as well as of our industries. In 1942, patriotic farmers at the government's request planted 36,000 acres of seed hemp, an increase of several thousand%. The goal for 1943 is 50,000 acres of seed hemp. In Kentucky, much of the seed hemp acreage is on river bottom land such as this, along the Kentucky River Gorge. Some of these fields are inaccessible except by boat. Thus, plans are afoot for a great expansion of the hemp industry as a part of the war program. This film is designed to tell farmers how to handle this ancient crop, now little known outside Kentucky and Wisconsin. This is hemp seed. Be careful how you use it. For to grow hemp legally, you must have a federal registration and tax stamp. This is provided for in your contract. Ask your AAA committeeman or your county agent about it. Don't forget, hemp demands a rich, well-drained soil such as is found here in the bluegrass region of Kentucky or in central Wisconsin. It must be loose and rich in organic matter. Poor soils won't do. Soil that will grow good corn will usually grow hemp. Hemp is not hard on the soil. In Kentucky, it has been grown for several years on the same ground, though this practice is not recommended. A dense and shady crop, hemp tends to choke out weeds. Here's a Canada thistle that couldn't stand the competition. Dead as a dodo. Thus, hemp leaves the ground in good condition for the following crop. For fiber, hemp should be sown 5 pecks to the acre. With drill, the closer the rows, the better. These rows are spaced about 4 inches. This hemp has been broadcast. Either way, it should be sown thick enough to grow a slender stalk. Here's an ideal stand. The right height to be harvested easily, thick enough to grow slender stalks that are easy to cut and process. Stalks like these here on the left, they yield the most fiber and the best. Those on the right are too coarse and woody. For seed, hemp is planted in hills like corn, sometimes by hand. Hemp is a dioecious plant. The female flower is inconspicuous, but the male flower is easily spotted. In seed production, after the pollen has been shed, these male plants are cut out. These are the seeds on a female plant. Hemp for fiber is ready to harvest when the pollen is shedding and the leaves are falling. In Kentucky, hemp harvest comes in August. Here, the old standby has been the self-rake reaper, which has been used for a generation or more. Hemp grows so luxuriantly in Kentucky that harvesting is sometimes difficult, which may account for the popularity of the self-rake with its lateral stroke. A modified rice binder has been used to some extent. This machine works well in average hemp. Recently, the improved hemp harvester, used for many years in Wisconsin, has been introduced in Kentucky. This machine spreads the hemp in a continuous swath. It is a far cry from this fast and efficient modern harvester to the Armstrong model of yore. But here's one kind of harvester, at least, that doesn't stall in the heaviest hemp. In Kentucky, hand cutting is practiced in opening fields for the machines. In Kentucky, hemp is shucked as soon as safe after cutting, to be spread out for retting later in the fall. In Wisconsin, hemp is harvested in September. Here, the hemp harvester with automatic spreader is standard equipment. Note how smoothly the rotating apron lays the swath preparatory to retting. Here it is a common and essential practice to leave headlands around hemp fields. These strips may be planted to other crops, preferably small grain. Thus, the harvester has room to make its first round without preparatory hand cutting. Here the machine is running over corn stubble. When the cutter bar is much shorter than the hemp is tall, overlapping occurs. Not so good for retting. The standard cut is 8 to 9 feet. The length of time hemp is left on the ground to ret depends on the weather. The swaths must be turned to get a uniform ret. When the woody core breaks away readily, like this, the hemp is about ready to take up and bind into bundles. Well-retted hemp is light to dark gray. The fiber tends to pull away from the stalk. The presence of stalks in the bowstring stage indicates that retting is well underway. When hemp is short or tangled, or when the ground is too wet for machines, it is bound by hand. A wooden buck is used. Twine will do for tying, but the hemp itself makes a good band. When conditions are favorable, the pickup binder is commonly used. The swaths should lie smooth and even with stalks parallel. The picker won't work well in tangled hemp. After binding, hemp is shucked as soon as possible to stop further retting. In 1942, 14,000 acres of fiber hemp were harvested in the United States. The goal for 1943 is 300,000 acres. Thus, hemp, Cannabis sativa, the old standby cordage fiber, is staging a strong comeback. This is Kentucky hemp going into the dryer of a mill at Versailles. In the old days, breaking was done by hand, one of the hardest jobs known to man. Now the power breaker makes quick work of it. Spinning American hemp into rope yarn or twine in the old Kentucky River Mill at Frankfort, Kentucky. Another pioneer plant that has been making cordage for more than a century. All such plants will presently be turning out products spun from American-grown hemp. Twine of various kinds for tying, winding armatures, and upholsterers' work. Rope for marine rigging and towing, for hay forks, derricks, and heavy-duty tackle. Light-duty fire hose. Thread for shoes for millions of American soldiers. And parachute webbing for our paratroopers. As for the United States Navy, every battleship requires 34,000 feet of rope, and other craft accordingly. So here in the Boston Navy Yard, where cables for frigates were made long ago, crews are now working night and day making cordage for the fleet. In the old days, rope yarn was spun by hand. Today, even the rope walk is mechanized. 160 fathoms to go. The rope yarn feeds through holes in an iron plate. This is Manila hemp from the Navy's rapidly dwindling reserve. When that is gone, American hemp will go on duty again. Hemp for mooring ships, hemp for tow lines. Hemp for tackle and gear. Hemp for countless naval uses, both on ship and shore. Just as in the days when old Ironside sailed the seas victorious, with her hempen shrouds and hempen sails. Hemp for victory.
Give us this day our daily yeses. Yes to life. Yes to living. Yes to caring. Yes to giving. Yes to creating. Yes to thinking. Yes to clarity. Yes to balance. Yes to seeing. Yes to being. Yes to yeses. Give us this day our daily yeses. Chaos, confusions. Confusions, chaos. Desperations, despair. Despairs, desperation. Programmed belief. Belief programmed. Manipulated minds. Minds manipulated. Behaviors, reactions. Reactions, behaviors. Fearful thinking, thinking fearful, altered thought, thought altered, diseasing perceptions, perceptions diseasing, forgetting medicine, medicine forgetting, clear thinking, thinking clear, coherent, coherence, coherency, coherent, prayers given, given prayers, peace and love and peace, created realities, realities created,
whatever sees whatever we do we? Give us this day our daily yes. Yes, to see. Yes, to be. Yes, to balance. Yes, to coherence. Yes, to thinking. Yes, to creating. Yes, to giving. Yes, to caring. Yes, to living. Yes, to life. Give us this day our daily yeses.
And we'll be back next week to help us restore hemp.
This is a little song for our traveler that we talked to earlier. Only we're going to change it a little bit.
All right.
Oh, come on, baby, don't you want to go? Well, come on, baby, don't you want to go? Back to that brand new place, Sweet Bud, Colorado. Yeah, come on, baby, don't you want to go?